All right, so I just got back from a home inspection with a buyer. And we found one of those issues that, if not handled correctly, would probably be a deal breaker. So it got me thinking, if you're buying a home in New Smyrna Beach or anywhere in coastal Florida at all, there are certain inspection findings that you need to take very, very seriously. Not cosmetic stuff, not minor repairs. I'm talking about issues that can cost you tens of thousands of dollars or create long-term risk. So today I'm walking you through the 9 biggest inspection red flags I see and how to think about them strategically. Hey there, if you're new to the channel, you want to learn everything there is to know about living in New Smyrna Beach and surrounding Volusia County areas like Ormond Beach, Daytona Beach Shores, Ponce Inlet, Port Orange, or Edgewater, then you've come to the right place. My name is Matt Ecoff. I'm a local real estate expert. I'm usually joined by my beautiful wife, Rachel Ecoff, but she is feeling under the weather. And we talk about things from the best neighborhoods to the hottest spots around town. Listen, we get phone calls, emails, text messages, Zoom invites every day from people just like you wanting to move to the beach. So whether that be in 2 days, 20 days, or 200 days, please don't hesitate to reach out. We would love to help you move to the beach. Please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so you get updates and all the notifications about New Smyrna Beach and surrounding areas, because we do 2 of these videos per week and we cover things from school zones to flood zones. So informative stuff. Let's get started. All right, before I get into the list, I want to say something very, very important. Stop waiving inspections. Even in competitive markets, I still hear buyers waiving inspections. Please don't do that. In Florida, especially with salt water, moisture, storm exposure, insurance challenges, an inspection is not optional in my opinion. An inspection is protection. So let's get into 9 home inspection deal breakers. All right, so number 1, this is no ifs, ands, or buts for me when I'm advising you, is major foundation issues. Okay, we're talking about horizontal cracks, stair step cracks, and significant settlement issues. Okay, in Florida, soil movement and water table issues can be real concerns. All right, so now let's be clear that every crack is not catastrophic, but if your inspector flags structural movement, you need to bring in a licensed structural engineer. Always. This is without fail. If the issue is severe and the seller refuses to address it properly, that's when you consider walking. Okay, this isn't cosmetic, this is a structural integrity. I'll tell you, I lost a deal. I don't know if they still watch, but Jim and Allison were from Colorado City. They were watching our videos. They came down, we met for lunch. We went out and looked at properties all day for one day, and then the second day they found one that they wanted to go check out, and we went under contract. They were here for a discovery trip. They weren't planning on coming in to purchase quite yet, but they found the house that they loved, and we went under contract. We negotiated a pretty good deal, I thought, and went under contract and had the inspection. They flew back to Colorado City. Inspection results came back. There were some foundation issues, and they were in a flood zone, which I suggested they don't buy in this area, but they really like this house, and that flood zone had caused some deterioration underneath the slab of a slab foundation block home, and we end up pulling out of the deal. So these are deal breakers for sure. You got to use your best judgment. This is your decision, not my decision, but easily number 1 on the list, major foundation issues for me. All right, here's another one too. This is easy number 2 for me. Roof end of life period. Okay, this is huge in Florida. Even if the roof isn't leaking and it's near to life, insurance can be denied or go through the roof. Policies can be canceled after the fact, and premiums can skyrocket, especially in coastal zones. Okay, a new roof in this market is about $15,000 to $30,000 depending on the size and depending on the material. If the seller won't credit or replace, then you need to price that into the deal the best you can. This isn't emotional. This is math, okay? I want to talk about, again, some other buyers. I'm not going to talk about buyers on every single time, but these buyers, Shane and Shay, came in from Park City, Utah. They were watching our videos. We found a great house after a couple days looking in the flying community in Port Orange, an awesome community, one of my favorites. They love the house. We put an offer in. We negotiated hard on the offer, got everything we wanted. Inspection result came back, and it was at the end of its useful life. Their insurance quote, after the insurance company got the inspection, the 4-point, their insurance quote went from $4,000 a year to $12,000 a year. That's almost $700 extra a month in their mortgage if they roll their insurance on the mortgage, which most people do. So What did we do? We basically threatened to pull out of the deal unless they would cover at least half of the roof. But I went all in and said, we want the whole thing covered. I didn't tell Shane and Shay, but I know they're happy about it now. I said, we want the whole thing covered or we are walking, and we got the entire thing covered. We got $30,000 in seller credit at closing, and they were able to get themselves a new roof for less than that $30,000 that we negotiated. So, but a roof, easy. Number 2, right behind structural issues. Number 3 is a failing HVAC system. All right, our climate HVAC systems work constantly, and if the system is anywhere between 8 to 12 years old or rusted or improperly maintained, you're likely looking at a replacement sooner rather than later. That replacement cost is going to be around $7,000 to $15,000 depending on what kind of system you get, the brand, the SEER level, and those things. Now, I have a contractor's license in HVAC, and as an electrical contractor, as a plumbing contractor, I did GC work. I've flipped a lot of houses and was at home services work a long time before real estate. So I'm very, very, very familiar with these things, but especially in the saltwater climate, if it's poorly maintained or you're seeing saltwater corrosion and rust, then there's some, serious red flags that you have to consider. So sometimes a credit makes sense, but ignoring it never does. All right, let's get into another issue, which is number 4, electrical panel issues. Again, as a licensed electrician, these are some things that I know about. We're looking at outdated panels, we're looking at improper wiring, and we're looking at potential fire hazards, okay? In Florida, certain older panels are difficult to insure, but not only that, some of them no longer have available parts. And so they've been kind of jimmy rigged to work a certain way, but that's a huge fire risk, and I cannot put you in that position. So if an inspector flags the panel, let's get some clarity. Panel replacements are going to run around $2,000 to $5,000. So they're not always a deal breaker, but they're absolutely a negotiating point. All right, number 5 is sewer line and drainage problems, okay? Older homes especially. People don't understand that the sand affects the plumbing system. They don't get it. That's why there are so many outdoor showers in Florida, and especially in these coastal towns, okay? It's a cool thing, yes, but people are like, oh, Greg got an outdoor shower. That outdoor shower is actually there to protect your draining system, especially in older homes. So we can have, not only can we have sand, we can have tree root intrusion, we can have collapsed lines, we can have poor drainage, which is, some red flags for sure. If your inspector offers a sewer scope, go for it. Pay a little bit extra money and go for it. Major underground repairs can cost anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000 plus. So you want to make sure that you check it out, and that's not something that you want to discover after closing for sure. All right, number 6, mold and water intrusion. This one also is big because mold, there is no way to know what kind of health risks it has. We know that it has them, but we don't know exactly what, because it's different for each individual people. There's actually been lawsuits that people have sued over mold issues, and almost every time they're shut down because you can't actually prove on the individual how that mold damages their inside. But mold and water intrusion are real big, and in coastal Florida, moisture is a constant battle that we have here. So what are we looking for? We're looking for active leaks. We're looking for hidden moisture behind the walls. That's a big one. And we're also going to be looking for improper remediation if there was something there in the past. So surface mold can be handled properly. That's not nearly as bad. But structural moisture issues, that's a different story. So what we always want to verify is that we have license remediation done, proper documentation, and clearance testing if those things arise during the inspection. Okay, number 7, it's active termites. So here we call it part of the inspection a WDO for wood destroying organisms. All right, Florida plus termites equals reality, right? Pest damage that's been treated, that's manageable. Active infestation, that's a whole different story. Structural termite damage can become invasive and very costly. So if treatment's required, make sure that a licensed pest control is involved and a warranty is provided for that. It's not that expensive here too, and most of the houses have it. And there are 2 different companies here. There's Massey and there's also Wilkie's. They're both great companies. I use both of them for different things, but they're both great companies. It's not overly expensive, but you definitely want to have this, and you want to have this preventative done if you buy the house and you don't have these problems, to make sure that you have that service done. All right, number 8 are environmental concerns. This is a pretty quick one. Listen, in Florida, this can include radon, which is less common than the Northeast, of course, but still tested, asbestos in older homes, and contaminated soil. Some of these are manageable, But if remediation is extensive and the seller refuses to address it, that's when you may want to reconsider or evaluate further. All right, and then number 9, this is really dependent on the area. We are mostly sewer here, but number 9 is failed septic system. We do have some particular places that have septic. Actually, at North Beach here, there's one area that only has 9 homes on septic, literally just 9 homes on this one street, Ocean. Down in Silver Sands, also beachside New Smyrna, there's some septic. A failed septic system though, number 9. This is a big one that we've dealt with recently. Septic replacements are going to be anywhere between $20,000 and $40,000 in some cases. Now, in Volusia County and surrounding areas, requirements vary by municipality, but sometimes the seller must repair it, and sometimes it becomes negotiation. But either way, if something comes up, you need to address it. If the seller refuses to address the failing septic system, you need to seriously reconsider, because this cost is major down the road. All right, so I don't like to do many things without Rachel, and so since she wasn't here today, and this is talking about contracting stuff, which I'm very familiar with, she wouldn't have had much to say. She's sick anyway, so this wasn't a long video, but I want you to take one thing away. The biggest lesson is not every inspection issue is a reason to run, but you got to distinguish between cosmetic issues and structural, insurance, environmental risks, okay? Those are 2 different things. That's where having a strategic agent matters. That's me, that's where I plug myself. Listen, my job is not to scare you, it's to help you structure the deal so it survives inspection. I'll tell you, I have a deal architecture mindset, okay? When we go under contract, we already discussed, we're looking at the roof age, the HVAC age, the insurance viability. We're definitely looking at flood zones all the time, potential big ticket exposure, because surprises kill deals. You only like surprises for their birthdays and anniversary, but preparation protects them. All right, so my final advice is, whether you're buying in Ormond Beach or Daytona Beach or Daytona Beach Shores or Ponce Inlet or Port Orange or Edgewater or New Smyrna Beach, never skip the inspection. Never ignore big ticket items, and never let emotion outride structure, okay? My father-in-law says all the time, don't cut your nose off to spite your face. That is what I see sometimes as emotional transactions. Don't want to see that happen, and I want to be there as a resource for you. So listen, I get phone calls, emails, text messages, Zoom invites every day from people just like you wanting to move to the beach. So whether that be in 2 days, 20 days, or 200 days, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to help you move to the beach. Please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so you get all the updates and notifications about New Smyrna Beach and surrounding areas. Until next time, thanks for joining me today. Bye.